Right now, as you are watching this video, there is a rumor spreading across America. Media calls it the Great Wealth Transfer. They say that over the next 20 years, $84 trillion will be passed down from the older generation to the younger generation. They tell you that millennials and Gen Z are about to become the richest generation in history. It sounds like a dream come true, doesn't it? 47 million families are waiting for this lottery ticket. They're waiting for their inheritance to save them from inflation, debt, and high rent. But I have bad news for you. They are lying. The money isn't coming to you. In fact, the money isn't even staying in your family. What you are witnessing is not a transfer of wealth. It is a consolidation of wealth. What is the greatest magic trick in financial history? While you are waiting for a windfall, the system is quietly siphoning value out of your pocket every single second of every single day. You see, this has happened before. This is not an accident. It is a mathematical pattern. A pattern that has destroyed the middle class of every major empire for the last 2,000 years. It happened in ancient Rome. It happened in Weimar Germany. And now, right on schedule, it is happening in the United States of America. The symptoms are always the same. First, the government spends money it doesn't have. Then, they degrade the currency to pay for it. And finally, the wealth of the common man is wiped out, while the elites end up owning everything. If you think your savings are safe, you are wrong. If you think an inheritance is coming to save you, you are wrong. We are currently in the final stage of a 4-stage collapse. And by the time most people realize what is happening, it will be too late to escape. So how does the trap work? More importantly, how do you make sure you are not the victim? To understand the future, we first have to travel back to the crime scene where it all began. To understand why you are losing money today, we have to go back to a quiet Sunday evening. August 15th, 1971. Most Americans were sitting in their living rooms, watching the popular TV show Bonanza. Suddenly, the broadcast was interrupted. President Richard Nixon appeared on the screen. He looked serious. He looked nervous. And in the next 18 minutes, he changed the financial world forever. He told the American people that he was going to temporarily suspend the convertibility of the US dollar into gold. He called it the Nixon shock. But that word temporarily was a lie. The gold window never opened again. Before this moment, every US dollar in your pocket was like a receipt. It was a claim check for a specific amount of real, physical gold stored in a vault. The government couldn't just print more money whenever they wanted because they didn't have enough gold to back it up. Gold kept them honest. Gold was the discipline. But on that Sunday in 1971, the discipline was removed. The dollar became fiat currency. Fiat is a Latin word that means let it be done. It means the money has value only because the government says it has value. It is backed by nothing but faith. This gave the politicians a superpower. If they wanted to fight a war, print the money. If they wanted to fund a welfare program, print the money. If they wanted to bail out their friends on Wall Street, just print the money. The consequences were immediate and terrifying. Look at this chart. Before 1971, the cost of living and the wages of the average worker moved up together. As prices went up, your salary went up. But after 1971, the link was broken. Productivity went up, but wages stayed flat. Meanwhile, the cost of housing, the cost of food, and the cost of energy exploded upwards. This wasn't inflation. This was theft. The government was stealing the purchasing power from your savings account to pay for their mistakes. They call it inflation policy. I call it a hidden tax. Think about it. If you worked hard in 1970 and saved $10,000, that money could buy you a nice house. Today, that same $10,000 can barely buy you a used car. The number on the paper is the same, but the value is gone. Where did it go? It was transferred. It was transferred from the people who hold cash, the middle class, to the people who hold assets, the elites. This is the wealth transfer that nobody talks about. When they print money, the prices of assets like stocks, real estate, and gold go up. Who owns the assets? The rich? But the prices of milk, bread, and gas also go up. Who pays for that? You do. The system is designed to pump wealth upwards. But here's the scary part. This experiment, this fiat money system, is only 50 years old. In the timeline of history, that is a blink of an eye. And if we look at the history books, we can see exactly what happens next. Because every time a civilization tries this trick, the ending is always the same. The ending is total collapse. History does not repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. And if you want to know what happens to America in the next 10 years, just look at what happened to Rome 2,000 years ago. The Roman Empire was the superpower of the world. They had the strongest army, the best roads, and the most trusted currency, the silver denarius. It was 95% pure silver. You could go anywhere in the known world and buy goods with it. It was real money. But then the government got greedy. Emperor Nero needed more money. He had expensive wars to fight and a lavish lifestyle to maintain. He didn't want to raise taxes because the people would revolt. So he did something sneaky. He ordered the mint to collect the silver coins, melt them down, and mix in cheap metals like copper. He watered down the soup. Suddenly, the coin was only 80% silver, then 50%. By the time the empire collapsed, the coin had only 0.5% silver. It was basically painted bronze. The government thought they were geniuses. They had created free money. But the market isn't stupid. Merchants realized the coins were trash. They raised prices. Inflation exploded. The cost of wheat skyrocketed. And here's the crucial part. Who got hurt? The wealthy Romans held land, gold, and slaves. Their wealth was safe. But the soldiers, the workers, and the common citizens, they were paid in the worthless fake coins. Their entire life savings were wiped out. The Roman middle class didn't just disappear, they were robbed. Fast forward 1,800 years. The location changed to Germany, but the crime remained the same. It was 1921, the Weimar Republic. Germany owed huge debts after World War I. They couldn't pay them, so they started the printing presses. At first it felt good. There was plenty of money flowing around. But soon the inflation monster woke up. Prices didn't just go up, they doubled every few days. A loaf of bread that cost 160 marks rose to 200 billion marks in less than a year. Think about that for a second. Imagine going to a coffee shop, and by the time you finish your coffee, the price has doubled. People were carrying wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy a newspaper. It sounds like a joke, but it was a tragedy. We have photos of children playing with stacks of money like Lego blocks because the paper was worth less than a toy. We have photos of people burning money in their stoves for heat because the wood was more expensive than the cash. But again, look closer. Who survived? The industrialists, the landowners, the people who owned real things. They came out of the crisis richer than ever. They bought up entire city blocks for pennies. It was the greatest wealth transfer in German history. From the savers to the speculators. Rome, Germany, Zimbabwe, Venezuela. The names change, but the math is always the same. Stage 1, good money. Stage 2, too much spending. Stage 3, printing fake money to cover the debt. Stage 4, total collapse of the currency and the destruction of the middle class. Now, look at your bank account. Look at the US national debt. It just crossed $34 trillion. We are printing money at a speed that would make the Romans jealous. We are following the exact same roadmap. We are currently at the end of Stage 3. And if history is a guide, Stage 4 is not a question of if, it is a question of when. And when it happens, the $124 trillion wealth transfer won't be a check in your mailbox. It will be the sound of a vacuum cleaner, sucking the value out of your hard work. Now, let's come back to 2025. Let's talk about that $124 trillion. The news headlines say it is the greatest wealth transfer in history. They want you to believe that money is going to rain down on the younger generation like a blessing. But here is the cold, hard reality. According to the latest data, the top 1% of households in America already hold 30% of all wealth. The bottom 50%? They hold barely 2%. So when the media says wealth is transferring, they are tricking you with averages. If Bill Gates walks into a bar full of poor people, on average, everyone in that bar is a millionaire. But in reality, everyone is still broke except Bill Gates. That $124 trillion isn't going to the middle class. Most of it, $62 trillion, is already sitting in the accounts of the ultra-wealthy. And it is going to stay there. Why? Because they know the secret. The secret is how they position themselves against the silent thief. The silent thief is inflation. But it's not just prices going up. It is your money dying. Imagine you and a billionaire are both running a race. But you are running on a treadmill that is moving backwards. That treadmill is the US dollar. Every time the government prints more money, the treadmill speeds up. You have to work harder, work longer, and take more shifts just to stay in the same place. Your savings account is bleeding value every single day. But the billionaire, he isn't on the treadmill. He owns the treadmill. He doesn't keep his wealth in cash, he keeps it in assets. Real estate, stocks, gold, companies. When the government prints money, the value of the dollar goes down, but the price of his assets goes up. The inflation that destroys you actually makes him richer. This is why the inheritance boom is a myth for 90% of people. Even if your parents have some money to leave you, the system is designed to take it back before it reaches your pocket. In Dove Life, medical care costs are skyrocketing. Inflation is eating away retirement funds. By the time the money gets to you, it will be worth a fraction of what it is today. You are waiting for a rescue boat that is already sinking. The system has turned the economy into a casino where the house always wins. And if you are sitting at the table holding chips made of paper, you are the sucker. So, does this mean it's game over? No, the collapse is inevitable. The math doesn't lie. But that doesn't mean you have to go down with the ship. There is a way to survive stage 4, but you have to stop thinking like a saver and start thinking like an owner. So here's the final question. If the ship is sinking and the captains are lying, what do you do? Do you panic? Do you scream? No, you prepare. History teaches us one very simple lesson. When paper money dies, real things survive. In Rome, when the currency collapsed, the people who held gold and land stayed wealthy. In Weimar Germany, when the paper mark became trash, the people who owned factories and farms survived. The pattern never changes. To survive stage 4, you have to stop storing your energy in things that politicians can print. You cannot print gold. You cannot print land. You cannot print a profitable business. These are hard assets. They are the lighthouse in the storm. The $124 trillion wealth transfer is happening, but it is not flowing into savings accounts. It is flowing into these hard assets. The rich are not buying dollars. They're getting rid of them. They are trading their paper for real things. You don't need to be a billionaire to protect yourself, but you do need to wake up. The era of save cash and retire is over. That system died in 1971. We are now living in the era of own or be owned. The machine is running at full speed. The debt is climbing. The printers are hot. You cannot stop the collapse. It is mathematically impossible, but you can step out of the way. Don't wait for an inheritance that might never come. Don't wait for the government to fix the problem they created. Take control of your own financial destiny. Educate yourself. Understand the difference between currency and money, because the storm isn't coming. The storm is already here. This is the greatest game of musical chairs in human history. And when the music stops, millions of people will be left with nothing but worthless paper. Make sure you are sitting in a chair made of something real. If you want to know exactly how the elites are positioning themselves for the next crash, and what assets historically perform best during a collapse, make sure you subscribe to the Money Files. I will be releasing a deep dive on the 3 assets that never die in the next video. You cannot afford to miss it. This isn't financial advice. This is survival. I'll see you in the next one.